fans as we welcome our Red Devils in Williston has tonight's game. We remind you that parents, scholastic events are an extension of the classroom. Please let your sportsmanship show throughout this game. Let's make our visitors feel welcome and give our officials the respect as they do a difficult job. Please speak out if you see inappropriate behavior and immediately notify school staff or officials. We all share the same responsibility for good sportsmanship.
All right, put down, right down. Go.
All right, everyone, we're set for kickoff here in Lake City, where the Williston Middle School Running Red Devils will take on the Lake City Falcons for the SMAC Conference Championship. So we've got championship football on Tuesday night here for you for Williston Sports Station. We've got a kick that goes out of bounds inside the 10-yard line. Red Devils will take over on offense. Want to thank everybody for tuning in. We've got two different streams running right now. If you're watching on a small screen like a phone, feel free to tune into the vertical stream. You may also tune into a horizontal stream if you're watching on the big screen.
Illegal substitution against the Falcons. It'll be placed in 5, Williston for round 3.
And as you just heard, defense is called for illegal substitution. 1st and 5, and the pass is complete to the flat. Looks like a gain of 1. It will be 2nd and 4. Run to the right for a gain of a first down by Williston.
Shoving. With a huge down run.
Red Devils get a new set of downs just on the other side of midfield. 1st and 10 from the 48-yard line. Devils are going to spread it out from a shotgun formation. 2 receivers on each side of the set. Running back to the left. Snap is taken by the QB for a run around the left side where he will get a gain of 2. 2nd down and 8 for the Red Devils. Man. All right, 2nd down. Ball's placed on the opposite side of midfield, but with the nose still touching it. Avoids the initial pressure and throws it laterally out of bounds. Looks like we're going to have an intentional grounding penalty as the flag was thrown. Definitely no receiver in the area, and unfortunately threw the ball sideways. So it's going to be a loss of down with the yardage attached, and the sack credited to Lake City Middle School.
It's a racing down. 3rd down.
Red Devils are back behind the original line of scrimmage now that they started out with. So we're looking at 3rd and 23. You're joining us on the vertical stream. Appreciate you. Shotgun snap taken by the QB. And an absolute dot thrown downfield for a completion of over 30 yards, where the Red Devils will pick up a first down on the Lake City side of the field. It looks like the spot will be on the 28-yard line, and the Red Devils are moving the ball effectively. A couple negative plays here and there, but they're spreading it out and just do an absolute dot for the completion. That was impressive. Jazakov's hurt. Maybe this guy needs to move up to varsity, man. That was an impressive throw. Jet motion across the left of the formation gives us some trips to the left. We got a sprint out to the left. And we got a good gain, but there's a flag on the field. Looks like it's going to be in the area of maybe a hold or an illegal block. And the initial look is a hold.
There's a penalty flag in the play.
So they're going to do 10 yards from the spot and replay first down.
Shooting against Williston.
That one right there. You're good, man. I just forgot to get the little USB stand mic here. All right, we got spread it out again. Avoid the sack a little bit, but then gets taken down in the backfield. We have another flag on the play.
Number 22, Colin. There's a flag on the play.
Another holding penalty is going to back up the Red Devils, but they're going to decline the penalty and take the sack instead.
Second down.
Well, I would say that 3rd and 25 isn't exactly the best position to be in, but the Devils showed on the last possession that maybe it's not so big a deal for them. Oh, it's only second down. Excuse me. Thank you. Little QB lead up the middle goes for a short gain. So now we're still on 3rd down here instead of last down like I was trying to make it. But we're looking at 3rd and 21.
It's 3rd down at about 22.
Stadium address announcer slightly disagrees on the yardage with me, and that's okay. It's still 3rd and a bus ride. 21, 22, it's a lot of yardage to make up. Jet motion across the formation to give us trips down here to the left. Sprint out comes to the left, but we have very little blocking and a sack is given up. It's going to bring up 4th and very long. I say 4th and 27, so we should expect the punt team to come out. If you're watching at home and you have some other folks in the Williston community that you think would like to watch the middle school guys take care of business tonight, make sure to send them a link to the stream. Whether it's vertical or horizontal, we got something for them. And the Red Devils milked the clock for the water break. So we're going to be 3 minutes, 4 seconds left in the first quarter. The middle school teams play 8-minute quarters, by the way, in case you're wondering how the clock is melted so fast. I'm going to get you a good little update here on the clock. Go. All right, we got that going. And it looks like the Red Devils are going to go for it instead. Oh, we got a quick kick that unfortunately takes a Lake City bounce and looks like a net punt of about 4 yards. So joining us tonight, we have an extra guest in the booth, Mr. Hunter Williams from the North Florida Raiders and Gateway Training. If you were watching the show last night, you'll recognize him, but I was just hoping we'd get a little bit of extra help on color to talk football and everything, because it's a little bit harder for me to keep up with all the jobs at once, and I appreciate him coming in tonight. Thanks, sir.
Glad to be here.
Appreciate you. So,
Mike's on, right?
yeah, let's, in fact, let me get a better level for you.
I just want to make sure.
Oh, yeah, I can definitely hear you in the monitor since you don't have a monitor like I do, unfortunately, right now.
It's fine. We literally planned this at the last second last night.
I know,
so.
right? Hey, and Lake City's out in the spread too, but oh my gosh. Number 72, man, he just made a big hit in the backfield. That's a good looking defensive line play for a middle schooler, don't you think?
Yeah. Really aggressive, went right to the ball. And from my understanding, this is the second time these two teams played this year.
Yes, sir. That is correct. Pretty sure Lake City won the first one in a close match.
Whoa.
And Williston has come out real aggressive on defense, getting in the backfield and just disrupting everything.
He brought him down with authority there.
In fact, I'm going to get you a little bit more extension on the microphone. Here, hold on a second. We'll switch this up here and give you more space. Bam. Oh, you can plug in directly on the battery pack over there too. I've got some the EcoFlow one right there. Yeah, you can just unplug the thing and plug directly into there, but that's perfect. Oh, okay, cool. All right, guys, the Williston defense has forced a 3-and-out on the opening possession, it looks like. One of the more difficult things to do in middle school football is unfortunately snap a long snap and punt the ball. So let's see how Lake City executes here. Hey, they execute it beautifully, actually. Punt takes a Williston roll. And Williston's going to take back over on offense with 1 minute, 13 seconds left in the first.
Definitely still pulling each other out, it seems, on both sides right now.
Agreed, agreed. Just a reminder, if you're watching at home and you want to put it on the TV, we've got the horizontal stream in 1080p. If you're watching on a small screen like a phone, you can pull it up on vertical where we've got it in the vertical equivalent of high def. Williston's just going to take the ball straight up the middle in a little single wing style look, but just from the spread. Yeah, that quarterback's a little athlete, isn't he?
So you how like are you sending a small school? They're players eligible to play for their varsity too?
You know, they're on the same campus, and you hadn't seen very many eighth graders ever play varsity for Williston, so that'd be interesting to see. We have some more injuries on varsity. You might see some of these kids get some. Oh, got a false start there. All I know is when I was in eighth grade at Williston, there was no business in me being on a varsity football field. Well, the false start takes away the yardage gained on first down plus an extra yard to our disadvantage, so 2nd and 11.
It has over time. It seems that athletes are developing faster and faster.
Agreed. 'Cause these kids are way better than we were in middle school.
Yeah, I was sophomore in high school the last time LCMS won a conference title.
Oh, wow. Okay.
That was shortly before they ended up. That was actually when they still had two middle schools in this town.
Okay. All right. End of the first quarter. That always that messes me up too, man, with the difference on that. Let's get a little update on the score bug on the bottom of the screen for you guys. trying to focus on keeping the action up here. Once we build out the team a little bit more, we'll be able to fully run the graphics on screen, keep a good eye on the field, make sure the stream's running right and everything. So if you're a Williston sports fan, make sure to share the stream to other Williston sports fans. That way we can grow the channel with anybody who wants to participate.
Yeah, I noticed a couple of looks like Columbia coaches out there in the corner of the end zone.
They were practicing behind us a little bit ago as well.
It's players that the entire sure. On the LCS side, at least.
All right, Williston has trips to the left side of the formation. Williston sprints out left, but is taken down in the backfield. And what's a defensive battle to start out the game, right? I mean, since you've gotten here, how many positive offensive plays have you seen so far? All right. Right.
See,
Rest of it's just been defensive struggle.
pressure.
Yeah. Wonder if we'll see a little adjustment with some chips or anything on those guys. Uh-oh. And another little scrimmage kick. That's one way to make sure it doesn't take a bounce the opposite direction from you is just go ahead and field the punt for him.
Yeah, because even if you don't catch it, you touch it, it's dead anyway.
Exactly.
28.
Let's see if anybody in the North Central Florida
Yards too.
right? Positive offensive football. And I lost track of it in the big divider here, so that's something I need to track a little better. Another defensive stop in the backfield. 6.5 minutes left in the second quarter. Still a scoreless ball game for the SMAC championship.
A big game because we got staying.
I tell you, they are definitely rolling out hospitality for us, giving us a good section to broadcast the game in, and that's a huge run. So we're going to be 1st and 10 just outside the 10-yard line, so there will be an opportunity for a first down, if not much. The first real threat to score this game. Number 22 directing the entire offensive line out there like he's another coach on the field there. And he put him in the right spot to get a big run. Yep, close to a first down, close to a touchdown, close to breaking the 0-0 tie. one of the differences in a 6 o'clock game is those long shadows from the sun coming down. That's not something I'm used to seeing for varsity football games. And a nice little scissors fake allows the QB for Lake City Middle School Falcons to take it in completely untouched.
Pull the read option there.
Looks like the Lake City squad will do a little swing and gate. And actually, yeah, converted on the swing and gate. I haven't seen that in years.
All games I think so once he had twice.
That's definitely a throwback. Well, the Red Devils find themselves in a little bit of a hole to the Falcons, but it's still only a one possession game. Let's see if maybe they can put together a couple of successful offensive plays in a row like Lake City was just able to.
It's different. I saw there on the second drive of the Raspberries the first. It did seem that they were trying to break open for the outside of the
Good insight. I like that. Because they definitely attacked the outside with those reads and then with the pull. Yes, sir.
Honestly, Wilson's gonna have to shore that up again.
And a deep kickoff in a middle school game is fielded by the Red Devils, but doesn't get much of a return. Yeah, only gets out to, it looks like a 13. I agree with you. Hey, PA announcer agrees with us too. There we go. I was saying the PA announcer agreed with us on the 13. It's hard with these shadows and stuff, man. My son's pointing directly in the face right now.
Just look out at the little witness things blocked.
There you go.
It's nice. I don't want like once past this tree line, we'll be fine.
Agreed. Or the way the clock's burning in this game, that might be in the second half sometime.
That's how long halftime is.
True, true.
Whoa,
Yeah, a little bit of a high snap.
it's slow.
Yeah. It's almost like he would benefit from taking an extra step up and get the timing down a little bit better. You often see young centers whenever they're trying to compensate for low snaps to go to the other end of the spectrum, right? Those high and slow snaps, just they want to make sure they get there and not cause a fumble, but it messes up the play timing a little bit. So being somebody
I guess you have to remember these are all both sides. These still players that are developing. You're still young.
exactly. That looks like a little bit of wishbone from the shotgun formation almost, but yep, a false start.
Here's throwback with the same game. Richmond's their throwback. He's staying too.
Hmm. Oh, another water break because we're down under 4 minutes left in the second quarter. Back it's 3 minutes, 57 seconds. In case you're just joining us, this is my First game with some color commentary. I appreciate Hunter Williams from the North Florida Raiders and Gateway Training coming and stopping by to help keep the flow of the game running a little bit better tonight.
My first middle school I did is probably when I was, I guess, sophomore in high school.
No kidding. Heck, I think it's the first middle school game I've been to since I coached at Williston Middle School. We'll sprint out to the right.
Yeah, but a little off target.
Looked like he was bracketed too a good bit, so they weren't going to let him complete that deep pass again. But he's got a strong arm for an 8th grader. Lake City's defense is definitely respecting his ability to throw the deep ball. I mean, that's free safety's what, at 16 yards? Oh, and what a counter play. He's got a lot of green grass in front of him. Agreed. Luckily, it looks like that corner or outside backer had a decent angle for pursuit. Because I honestly thought he was about to break that for a touchdown. Big play regardless, though, and the clock has stopped with 3 minutes and 30 seconds until the now it just got back rolling with the chains getting set. And gotta love when your Apple Watch starts buzzing and it says it's a political call coming in. It's like, hey, we got more important stuff. We got football. They like to get this young man some off-platform looks and opportunities, and he's got the wheels and the arm strength to take advantage of it. Looks like they're going to spot him a yard short of the first down.
Yeah, he ran for about 20 yards on the sidelines.
Like, I'm just getting ready to stretch it out for even more, right? Wearing that number 4 and moving like that, he's moving a lot like prime Deshaun Watson with the Texans pre-Achilles snapping on him, right?
Yeah, I bet Brown wish they had that one right now.
Oh gosh. The worst trade of all time in the NFL, it feels like right now. Heck, I bet they wish they still had Baker. He played out of his mind last night. I mean, he's a gunslinger, so he still had a couple picks, but yeah, he's fast, but they're just bringing him from the outside and trying to keep him corralled. I think that's the second sack for number 22.
Yeah, he definitely carries a legacy here in Lake City as his dad, who's a coach over there
Okay.
for the Falcons, a former U.S. running back.
No kidding.
Set their rushing record when he left the Bulls.
That's great, man. I had no idea.
Also a starting running back for Columbia's 97 state runner-up.
Okay. My mom would be glad to know that because she's a Columbia High School graduate. We won't say what year though, just because she'd really hate that I put that out on YouTube. What a run. 3rd and long conversion, picks up the first down, gets across midfield for the second time for Williston. Williston's put together a couple of good offensive plays. Looks like they might have a chance of trying to tie this game up or at least get it within a point or two. Red Devils got to get a little bit of sense of urgency though, because there's a minute and a half left in the game, and the clock's just running. Hey, another counter play, but this time it's sniffed out.
And obviously, this like the snap was slow and high, which they had done working around, but it didn't work out there. It kind of slowed the play down. They were able to get the pass. They were able to get rushed.
The fakes on a counter just aren't as effective if the timing's off, right?
On this stuff.
Williston fans, if you're interested in the game Friday night against the Newberry Panthers, we'd love to have you down at Booster Stadium to give a good home field advantage to the Red Devils. However, if you can't make it or you live out of town and you still want to follow along the Williston Red Devil varsity football team, tune in and see us.
He needs him because I'll be at a different game Friday.
Which game are you going to Friday night?
It's
Gotcha.
There.
Gotcha. What a run lane established to the outside, and yeah, it is going to come back. I see that flag behind. Oh, 2 flags. Holding is the call. What a killer penalty too. After a big run with a gain of, what did you say, about 15, 16 yards?
Especially with very little time until halftime, that's definitely a pass record.
Effectively turned into a 22, 23-yard penalty.
Sure, tonight.
The Lake City defense is just keying on the strong side of that formation and loading it as much as possible. They could establish some flow with a throwback screen or any sort of counter back in the other direction. They could bust a big run.
It's ability, but a little bit of time to make that throw.
Agreed.
Line for black there.
Agreed. Oh, what was the penalty call? I missed it. Personal foul, face masks. Hunter, tell me if I'm crazy right now, but it seems like the FHSA this year is only doing the yardage on pass interference, and it's not an automatic first down anymore.
I think it's always now.
Gotcha. Okay. I'm just I'm always thinking the NFL and college rules on off the top of my head sometimes on the broadcast.
I think we had that corner play in our last game that threw us off a bit, but it's like I guess it's just something that it's tough to get used to because like you see high school post games 3 different sets of help. Like
Right. I know the one thing that always throws the defensive players off the most in high school is the lack of illegal contents or contact. So when you start teaching them collision and cover two, they just go like, "What do you mean I can knock people down that are running out for a pass?" Yeah, it's made a very manageable third down. Looks like we're at about 3rd and 4.
got a deep chains like running on the other side, but it's not attached to any speakers.
Right. But it's nice that he came out to support the middle school kids on their championship game to do it, you know? We got some.
That's the first one.
Still inbound. Oh, just stepped out right there inside the 30. He's got some real natural running moves that just look real fluid out in the open field, too. The Falcons take a timeout with 43 seconds remaining in the second quarter. The Red Devils need an extra big play or two to try to close the gap before halftime.
But it does seem that face mask probably has had a good second life award.
Agreed?
Seems.
And $15 for a school dance. Inflation is kicking it right now, huh? My poor kids would have to do a lot of chores to get that $15.
Because more for the high school one.
Oh my God.
Or this homecoming fever here is the next week for Columbia.
Uh-oh. Number 4's breaking it up the middle here. Looks like he's got enough yardage for the first down to stop the clock for a few seconds while it gets reset. They're inside the red zone with 35 seconds remaining on the clock. But now the clock is moving again.
And they're right.
Yeah, I wonder if they'll give him some of that time back because it looks like he had requested a timeout. Maybe it wasn't immediately given. I see the coaches talking to the referees a little bit. Have a feeling he's asking, what about my 7 or 8 seconds there? I'd like to have a good enough lens to be able to zoom in and then do some bad NFL lip reading, you know? Like, sir, what happened to my 8 seconds?
Vince wanted the officials to put a mic on them.
Ooh, that's a good idea. That'd be worth the $150 at Best Buy for the Rode little wireless lavalier mics.
Or better yet, one of the coaches. You could imagine the conversation that happened during the game.
One of my next investments in the broadcast is I've got some old XLR equipment. What I'd like to do is get some sort of wireless transmitting base station to attach to it, and then I could place a couple of microphones down field level.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, clock stops in that sack at least. Lake City is definitely loading up the outside, knowing that he likes to get off platform. I don't know too many young quarterbacks that really like the 3, 5, and 7 step drop back game though these days.
Yeah, I see the game definitely moves towards the athletic quarterback that can move.
Everybody wants to be Patrick Mahomes. Heck, even Dylan Raiola wants to be Patrick Mahomes, right?
Or Jackson.
Yeah, right. I tell you, the way DJ looked Saturday night, though, everybody needs to start thinking, hey, I want to be Lagway. Back-to-back sacks, yeah, and that one's going to burn a timeout, that's for sure. At least it was immediately granted this time. 14 seconds left on the clock in the first half.
That'll be their call. Timeout. So they're staring at a third and really long. Looks like at least 20 yards.
While sitting on the 26-yard line. So definitely have some work to do on this one.
Like 6 to get a first down. But considering the time, they may just have to go for the end zone.
Yeah, because they don't have a timeout to burn, and I doubt they have a quick set for clocking it, you know?
And that's the end of that.
Yep, that's a disappointing way to end the first half with a sack. What was that, 3 straight sacks in the half?
They were in the red zone.
Man,
Why is the clock stopped?
interesting. Maybe they're hoping for a mistake and try to get extra scoring. It is 4th down and very long. Honestly, if I was Williston, all I would do is take the snap, run around for a few seconds, and then slide. Or, heck, be aggressive and go for it. Kid's got an arm, right? Let's see how far he can throw one.
I'm questioning the decision to call it out there.
Hey, you're right. That sun finally went down. I just was wrong about the time. It's not in the second half, but it is the end of the first half. All right. Let's see if Williston can make him pay for the timeout. Well, motion across the left side. Try to get a little extra help in the pocket blocking. That was smart of Lake City just to hold him up too, and then not try to finish him off with a hit because they would have gotten a free play at the end of the half for a defensive penalty. I'm not sure the varsity football teams would have laid off of that.
I've seen plenty of times where they made that mistake and gave themselves a giveaway of 315 yards. Definitely a defensive slugfest that's outside that one, well, I guess 2 drives.
Right. Let's see here. Let's get it set up to show halftime. And the halftime clock has already started. They're really on the ball here at Columbia High School, which is nice. I'm going to try to sync us up here in a second.
It's pretty nice sandwich when you think about it. You eat all the major sports.
Can't you? Because baseball and softball nearby. Their track is spectacular, by the way.
Brand new, actually. They got it in,
Gotcha. And I'm low key a big track fan because it's something that I absolutely know I would be the absolute worst at. Especially with Gainesville having a world-class track facility and sprinting program at UF. It's like you just get to see some of the best athletes in the world in your own backyard.
you have speakers up the game.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
See, speech.
Now handing the record on to Lake City Middle School cheerleaders.
I definitely took advantage of the fact that I had the big old cart and everything, so I had a couple bottles of water in to roll it in. They're just like, "Yeah, take all your stuff in, guys." I'm like, the SRO here was very hospitable to let me get set up and everything.
The card still playing?
No, they actually said, "Hey, you're promoting the kids. Come on in." I said, "All right, let's do it."
Yeah, they were pretty daunting because I had some of the drink, but if I had put it in my bag, it would have never done.
Right. I saw so many Williston fans on this side of thing. I thought I was sitting on the visiting side over here.
Like I would play up the park lot, like just split the infield, like you don't see the other.
All right. I thought I was on the visiting side.
So it's like stadium versus bar because they have the whole team facing fourth us.
Yeah. Lake City deferred their choice to the second half too, so they're going to get the ball coming out of it and try to make it an additional possession on their lead.
Why they're deep, why that's really
Yeah, backbreaker, yeah. Feels like if Williston had a little bit more of an interior run game and had some play action off of it, that they could really balance out their sprint out and then exterior run game. Although it always bugs me when you talk about football, you have your interior run game, but you have your outside run game. You don't call it exterior, really, right? Like, what's up with that? Talk about your random shower thoughts, like a guy from Williston, a couple years older than me, who was a state FFA author, used to always use as his segue. A chickpea is neither a chick nor a pea. Discuss. Shout out to Tate Michael in case you're watching that. That's a throwback memory there. And if you're not watching, watch next time.
So was it a good drive?
Yeah, it was I mean, I-75 is not nearly as bad as it was for all the hurricane evacuations, so coming up from Williston is not a bad little hike.
Or recent guy, right?
Yes, sir, it is.
Like what, like an hour and 20, hour and 25?
It took me an hour 10. In fact, my grandmother and grandfather, when they were alive, used to live like maybe a three-quarters of a mile that way, and they're actually pretty close to Lake City Middle School. So whenever I showed up at the middle school the first time, because I'm going to Lake City Middle School game, I'm like, hey, when did they get a stadium? That's the neat thing. They didn't. I just showed up to the wrong place. But it took me right by their old house, so I was like, oh, memories.
That was one thing, like, when you first told me, I was like, wait, hold a second, they actually have a field now?
That's what I just assumed. That's what I get for assuming things, right?
Like, I knew that I remember they'd always play here, and if for some reason this field, they could play from Florida.
Hmm. Well, I'll tell you, they got a nice place to play. I know Williston's a pretty nice stadium and everything too. It's just if Williston had a track like this, man, ooh, this track.
They got a scoreboard too, like it just 3 years ago.
Gotcha. That's a video board on top there. Wow. Williston Football Booster Club. If you're hearing that video board for Williston Booster Stadium, right?
Got the thing since we went to play Union, they were kind of using that as a test for like what we can do with ours.
Cool.
Well, I think this one is like about twice the size of the one over there.
One thing Williston has that nobody else has, the big flaming devil head to run through. Have you seen that in our pregame? So my senior year of high school is when they were forced to finally change it because they used to soak burlap sacks in kerosene and wrap it around the frame. So it was literally so hot when you would run through it pregame for about 2 steps before and 2 steps after you didn't breathe, right? You just knew it was too hot to breathe. And so you would like know as soon as you ran through that fire, it was time. It was really something that just set it apart from where it was the time before you step on the field and the time after you step on the field. Pre-game was nothing. You didn't get nervous. You didn't do anything with your pregame stuff until you ran through that fire. When you ran through that fire, you knew it was on. So our senior year, they had to change it to where they have a, propane regulator and they have uh, basically a big metal frame tubing that they run the propane through and light instead. So it only shoots straight up now, which I mean still looks really cool. It looks like a lot of the stuff you see with fire effects at other stadiums. You just don't feel that heat.
Or you did check that out.
It's a pretty cool tradition, man. Running through the Devil Head when you come out. Yeah. If you weren't going to Columbia Clay, I'd say come to Williston Newberry. See that. I bet there's probably going to be 6 or 7 deep all around the track on the outside too, because there won't be any seats in the stadium.
Smith went to Virginia. I saw before they actually have like a cave where they just like they have like a massive cave and see the like they set it in the end zone and see runs out. But they open the caves.
Really? That'd be cool to see.
Yeah, the Columbia features tunnel over here.
Right.
Sunset.
Right down here.
And on it's like then they had a couple of times this like early on in the season they had fireworks accompanying what they ran out.
Fireworks even. Okay.
Idea for Bradford. A couple of schools that use fireworks all the time. The principal game, I was like, maybe you should just keep the fireworks permanent. They had it for the first game, and they had some left over from that, so they brought a few spares for the next game.
All right, I'm keeping notes to tell all the Williston supporters, like, here's cool stuff to do when my kids are in high school for playing. Although knowing what they'll do is they'll say, "Oh yeah, that list, that's your list. You do it now." Like, you got ideas? Oh, okay, here you go.
In other words, we love the ideas, but we're not going through with ourselves.
I tell you though, the things folks that support the Williston program do all right now. I mean, the entire summer they had food. They had like what they called the Men of Summer breakfast series. So it's like they'd come in to do workouts, but they'd have eggs, sausage, pancakes, whole 9 yards, like every morning for all the kids. They get their pregame meals, their postgame meals. They got breakfast on Fridays, sponsored by one of the local churches, and
I mean, that's not pretty similar thing. They're just going to work out, which makes sense. I like the fact they're doing that.
right. Because the number one thing that sets apart elite programs seems to be nutrition and weightlifting, right? I mean, you can have the X's and O's and you have talent, but you got to put fuel in the tank.
It's the reason it sets them apart. You have so many programs that don't invest any time and effort into that.
Right.
See the difference.
Well, and some programs probably want to and may not have the resources. Mr. Jackson said he's going to come to a game with me sometime too, so we'll see. We'll see when that happens here.
Sure. What, next Thursday?
Honestly, I don't plan that far ahead right now. I plan that far ahead for work, plan that far ahead for the family. Right now, I'm just kind of like, hey, I know when the varsity games are, and that's we put this on the schedule a week ago.
Mentioned to him that Thursday night, next Thursday for Halloween, Colts is hosting Cardinal Newman at Citizens for a Thursday night game.
That's interesting.
I mentioned to him the idea that if we work logistics of it, we could head out there like before the game starts and do the show live on site at Citizens.
That's a good idea. I mean, I got the setup right here. It'd just be a matter of, all right, we turn the camera around instead of facing it out to the field, right?
Went during the game, but definitely show pregame.
Yep.
Better idea early next week. So I'm thinking of checking out Florida FSU softball on Sunday.
Okay.
So if my vehicle handles the drive to Gainesville then I'll probably start planning for the Halloween game. Even if the logistics don't work out, Paul wants to be there, I'll probably go ahead and try to go.
If it's actual Halloween night, then I'm probably going to be trick or treating with the kids in town of Tioga.
But that's why I wasn't sure. That's why I figured out.
Oh yeah. No, I don't blame you. I mean, it's like there's a difference of schedule when you have kids and everything, especially trick or treating age, because my oldest has gotten a Wolverine costume he's excited about. My youngest has a Harry Potter costume that he's really excited about, and so I'm sure they're gonna drag that out and everything. And it's supposed to be like 85 degrees the night of Halloween right now, so I'm like, oh yeah, this sounds great. Like, let's go get in costumes and walk around neighborhoods for a couple hours. I'll definitely have to take the dad tax and candy, right?
If that's the case, we may have to see what we can do with rearranging the schedule a bit for next.
Right, either that or maybe I'll just be a call in and say, hey, all right, I'm gonna reach in without video and say, hey, coming to you from town of Tioga.
I we should probably like we talk on the show next time, just try to figure out what we're going to do with that.
That's a good idea. Yeah, because the show's being so new, I hadn't even worried about one of it falling on Halloween, right?
You see, that was the second time was last night.
Yes.
It was a show for a few months, hadn't it?
The second time where he wanted it to have like a panel and have somebody else, so he's talked to a few people, and I just like talking football, so I was like, sure, why not, man? You guys have a bit more knowledge of the area than I do so far, and so it's cool to get y'all's knowledge and perspective on stuff too.
I think close to what's the playoff practice round, we should definitely break down the entire state posting things.
Lake City has a good return, gets it out across their 30 to open the second half.
Is that actually?
Yeah, we're just talking.
Maybe I just asked with that whole conversation.
Oh, I'd have let you know if we all of a sudden ventured off the beaten path bad. The one thing that most folks have given me on feedback while we're doing it is like, hey, it'd be nice to have some color. I'm like, yeah, I know, don't get me wrong. I'm just trying, like, I focused on video quality first. And surprisingly, the vertical stream gets a lot more people than the horizontal stream, even though the horizontal stream comes in 1080p 60 on YouTube. So it even, as the channel gets bigger, I'll qualify for the enhanced bitrate stuff, right?
Or maybe it's just like mobile phone convenience.
It 100% is.
My streams on mobile quality, but
Right, especially compared to. He's broken a big run out across the 40 of Williston. It looked like he was going to take a sack at first. The Williston defense was jumping in his face trying to keep him from throwing it, but when he pulled it down to run, he pulled it down to run.
From the quarterback and running, but LCS, but seems to be a pretty good athlete in his own right.
Yeah, it seems like in the middle school level, you just have to put your best player as the guy taking the snap right now.
Sure, Corey. Sure.
You gotta love the effort for Williston to try to strip sack when he's already down. But hey, you got the sack, you know? I mean,
Seems like look, right?
yes, sir.
Like that's been an issue for Columbia like the last decade.
So one of my sons, Owen, on flag football last night, he's talking about how hard it is to block effectively in space when it comes to. And the little screen pass goes for a big gain, but he still hasn't gotten back to the original line of scrimmage. So it's going to be 3rd and long.
Screen. So they the other team said take that advice.
Right. Well, and I was telling him now you know why offensive linemen in the NFL are worth their weight in gold. Because imagine you got like a 6'3", 240, 4'5" Myles Garrett running at you, and you got to try to block in space, and Myles Garrett might just decide to run right over you instead. And he looks at me, he's like, "I get it now." Lake City receiver uncovered down here is just saying, "Hey, snap it and get it to me."
I think left tackles, pass rushers are getting to be one of the most important positions on the field.
Wow, what a completion!
It's not a she wants important positions on the field.
Yes, sir.
He's in the NFL now. You gotta protect the passer, you gotta rush the passer.
And Williston's really making an effort to rush the passer, but I mean, that was an excellent throw and catch by the Lake City Middle School Falcons. It looks like a fumble, and Williston's saying they got it. Let's see if the referees agree. I see a referee holding up a hand, but is that a change of possession or a 2?
It looks like
Yeah, I just wish my eyesight was better to see whether or not I disagreed with them. This is an illegal formation right now, by the way, isn't it? There's 5 guys in the backfield. They've run that formation a couple times and never had it called. But And now it is another fumble. They're calling a possession change to Williston. I thought Williston had the fumble on the play before, but I hope the coaching staff is paying attention to that formation and working the sideline there because I want to say that's the second time they had run that formation that series, and each time it wasn't called for illegal formation with 5 men in the backfield. All right, the Red Devils are taking over with 4 minutes 20 seconds remaining in the third quarter. And the officials have requested a timeout for water break with the change of possession. But be glad this is an ESPN or we'd have a 3 minute 25-second TV timeout right now. Then we'd have a 2 minute 55-second timeout for something else. Then and by the way, ESPN, if you're watching, I still like you and everything. Just these TV timeouts are killing me, especially in the stadium. If NIL is going to share revenue with the athletes, maybe they could share with me for the waste of my time. Well, they had a one-on-one matchup. It looks like the one-on-one matchup didn't get matched up with a really good throw there. Yes, sir. It's an interesting approach, though. They've got four offensive linemen, and the number 54 is split off in the what is that? About a 7-yard split right there.
Trying to play there.
Yeah, it looks like they didn't line up outside of number 54. I think that's the type of formation that a varsity football team can take advantage of, maybe not a middle school football team, because you would assume that the defensive lineman would try to get outside the outside man on the line of scrimmage, and they're just kind of going like, "Who cares? You're out here. We're not going to do anything about it." I know I've told outside linebackers and defensive ends to make that same decision before on the football field. It's like I've straight up told them it's like, what's the objective out there? If there's not one, then don't worry about it. But looks like they gained a matchup to the left-hand side from the defense and get a first down on the QB scramble. Well, I say scramble, but it looked like it was a designed run, right? So, yes, sir. Yeah, some offenses that would try to get extra outside running room by attacking his own defense by split in way, way far off the end of the line of scrimmage to try to split the difference with the zone defender on the outside backer. And I just have to tell him it's like, hey, look, they're not going to do anything out here. Just go ahead and drop into it if you read past, but stick in tight on the run.
I guess Wilson's decided they're going to just keep doing a quarterback run until the Falcons can stop.
I can't fault.
Straight.
Yep, and I can't fault a quarter or a coach for keep calling what's working. I know we only picked up 2 yards, but we keep having positive plays in a row right now, right? And that's what it takes to keep a good drive moving.
Trying a lot of
True.
closing in on the 2.5 minute mark. Look at they go there with Wilkers.
I'm really surprised that that one doesn't have a flag associated with it because it looked like they started the tackle either close to or just out of bounds.
We sure there's not?
Got to look through the right spot of the progressives to try to find the yellow on the field.
The 40 people in that scrum of area.
Right.
When I was seeing what was happening, I was expecting that flag. A little surprised that it didn't.
So he has a quarterback game that he's patterning after Deshaun Watson, but he gets calls like Cam Newton, huh? Lake City defense still has 3 guys deep. And this big run's coming back. That's driven down well out of bounds.
The fans ain't
Yeah, the fans are definitely right to not be happy.
be honest. Or dragging out.
Not disagreeing with you. They're just not calling it.
Guess that frustrated with the first one that wouldn't just happen to be right here on the sideline.
Good call. The Williston fans are letting them have it, right? I mean, big third down conversion. Just taken off the board by a penalty. And when it's had 2 other plays in a row that it looks like a penalty should have been called on the defense and wasn't, the fans are not happy right now.
But not on now.
And don't get me wrong, I didn't see the hold, but I wouldn't be surprised at the hold. Just at least offset it and give us 3rd and 3 again instead of 3rd and 13 or 3rd and 2 instead of 3rd and 12. Well, the hits are coming right now, and we're at what, 4th and 10?
Have been you go for him?
I would, especially with the amount of possessions that are left in the game with the way the clock's running. It just doesn't make sense to even worry about a punt right here. Your defense has only given up 1 score, and it's coming off of a turnover. He did not pick up enough for the first down. No, it even looked like he lost track of where the first down marker was and was working the sideline a couple yards too early. You know, that looks pretty accurate based on what you're saying there, because I wasn't exactly sure what the hesitation was at first. But either way you look at it, Lake City takes over on downs on the 38-yard line. Well, if they want to give Williston a chance, throw incomplete passes, right? Yep, and 2 straight incomplete passes have burned off what, 7 seconds off the clock? And the Falcons coaching staff is definitely not happy right now. I'll tell you, this is nice though that middle school guys get to basically have a playoff, right? You know, a 2-round seeding and championship.
Right. First, yeah, they conversion. So that's a bit of a new one then.
I think you just accidentally muted it. No, it's doing. I like it. Just wasn't picking up all of a sudden.
Testing.
Yeah, all of a sudden I saw the shotgun mic wasn't picking up anything.
Another incomplete pass.
There we go. It's back working again.
Testing. Okay, I see it.
Yep.
But yeah, I believe it's only the first or second year that LCMS is actually back in a conference because when LCMS and Richardson merged in the late 2010s, they were actually kicked out of the conference, and none of the teams in the conference wanted to play them.
Interesting. That looked like a false start. Yep. So on 4th and long, to get a false start against LCMS, and literally only about 12 seconds have burned off the clock on the first 3 down. And it looked like the Falcons were wanting to go for it and try to throw the ball deep. They definitely have thrown the ball deep and out of the reach of the receiver. So with 33 seconds remaining in the 3rd quarter, we'll see if threes are lucky for the middle school edition of the Williston Red Devils.
Yeah, that was about 15 seconds over that one drive.
Which, I mean, hey, if they want to give it to us, sure, why not?
I just don't know why the Falcons went away from the run there. They was working for much of the game, and you go 4 straight passes.
You know, I've worked with plenty of coaches, and sometimes they get in their own head, right? They get away from what's working. I mean, sometimes nothing is working, so you're just throwing darts on the wall and seeing what gets closest to the bullseye. But hey, good positive run to start off on 1st down.
Seems Williston will stick with what's working. They're going to keep running the ball. And that might take it to the end of the 3rd quarter.
Yeah, I think they're content with only having to flip the field by 2.5 yards for the change of direction. Yep, it looks like we're going to go to the 4th quarter with Williston down 8 to the Lake City Middle School Falcon football squad. So Williston has 8 minutes to try to get 8 points. Yeah, I don't know what happened to your mic for a second there. All of a sudden, the levels weren't showing up that they were working, and I'm like, what's up with that?
Well, I'm glad we got it figured out.
Now, if somebody on the comments tells me I didn't notice it for a long time, well, then I'm going to feel silly. But, hey, that'll be lesson learned. They're probably hearing you as background on my microphone instead of actually hearing you in yours. All right, the Williston squad is lined up. Unable to really get positive yardage there, but maybe they'll get credit for a yard or so. So 3rd and short. We'll say 3rd and 3, it looks like.
Yeah.
See if we can't get a little
Obviously,
bit better
the
look at
Falcons are going
this
to be
one.
looking for a big stop here. And right now, if their lead holds, they'll be looking at their potentially their either 4th or 5th conference championship in school history. But also the first one in a decade.
I didn't see the indication. Oh, it's an injury. I was gonna say I didn't see a actual timeout indication there to see who the charged timeout was to, but who the timeout was charged to, no, that doesn't sound right either. It's just something about that sentence.
It does make you wonder, like watching some of these, like watching games with Lake City and Williston. Maybe this is something that the high schools should consider picking up on themselves.
That's an interesting idea. I don't know how many games Williston has ever played against Columbia, if any.
I could find out.
I know Williston has played Fort White a good bit.
No, they've never. Williston and Columbia have never played.
Yeah, they got to pick that up at least one time.
They do have a minor bit of history in some other sports, but also I know that when Brian retook the job at Columbia in 2 seasons, last season, Robbie Pruitt was actually considered for that position.
Oh, no kidding. Robbie Pruitt at a place like Columbia would have probably had a lot of victories behind him too. I mean, he's had a good run here at Williston. I mean, 2 straight 10-0 regular seasons until this season, so it's not like it's slouching performance or anything. I know a lot of folks have been wanting to compete a little bit better in the playoffs and get a little bit farther, but
It takes time to build to that.
100% agreed. Because even when we were late 90s, early 2000s, and always in the playoffs, it was always a difference of a couple of plays here and there in the playoffs that could keep us out of the state title game. My sophomore year, we had Marlon Williams run for over 2,000 yards. And then we ran into Jacksonville Trinity Christian, and they had Gus Scott and about 15 other Division I scholarship recipients, and we had like 0 D1 scholarship recipients. So for 3 of the quarters, it was 22-20, but for 1 quarter, they outscored us 20-0. So it's like, yeah, we just didn't have it on that one. It always seemed like there were little games here and there we would run into with just some absolutely spectacular athletes because the next year we played against Tallahassee, North Florida Christian that had Ernie Sims, and that dude was a bad man. Like watching film preparing for that game, our head coach literally said, "I have never seen anybody that I thought could go from high school straight to the NFL until now."
That was a big stop there by the Falcon defense.
Yeah, big stop. Now we're at 4th and 3. This
They
feels
going for it
like
now.
it's the most important offensive snap of the game for the Red Devils now, with 7.5 minutes in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, staring at what looks to be a 4th and 3 or
Yes,
fourth
sir.
and 2.
We'll call it a long 2. Be a little more optimistic here.
They have to get to the, looks like the 47 for a first down.
Williston's going to take a timeout. They know it's the most important offensive snap of the game now.
Just note for anyone that parks, the stadium is not responsible for your car.
If it's my old car, they can just total it if they mess it up, you know?
Yeah, I heard a horn blare back there. I wondered if someone was about to hit each other.
I'm sure if my wife is watching, she's like, "Stop trying to get a new truck." Although I haven't bought a new vehicle in 10 years.
Big play coming up here for both teams. And it's a flag on the play.
Flag
That's
on
going
the
to
play.
that's going to bring us about as a sack anyway.
Yeah, it depends on what the call is on whether or not it's even going to matter.
Yeah, more than likely it's holding, but we wait to see.
With how quick the flag came out, being holding would be a weird call, I think.
Might have been illegal motion,
Yeah, that's what the call is.
but
And that
it's
one's
not going
been
to matter.
declined. Unfortunately, that's the difference in middle school football. You can take a timeout, you can do everything, put the kids in the right position, try to have the right play call, and just one little thing can go wrong.
And with how this game's being played, that one's going to hurt a lot.
It's going to hurt a ton. But maybe the defense can come up with some sort of equalizer here.
You got to think that maybe the Falcons have learned from last drive that they'll try to run the ball here.
Let's find out if they're quick studies. And they're throwing again, but this time they complete the pass out in the flat, get a big gain, and the run is finished strong.
They're going to be close to the red zone as they got to the 25 there. Callum coming up with quite a bit of plays for the Falcons. And he'll be here at the high school next year. Continue the family legacy. And that's going to looks to be close to a first down as they get to the 15. That should be enough for a first down.
Yeah, it looks like, yep, they're moving the chains. So 2 straight first downs for Lake City Middle School threatens to put a nail in the coffin of the Red Devils championship hopes unless the defense can come up big here. It looks like the defense has flattened it out for the red zone to compress it and bring some extra pressure, and that's successful actually right there.
Looks like a loss of about a half a yard.
Hey, and any loss after the past couple plays is a good result for the Red Devils. As soon as I saw no safeties deep and everybody within about 3 yards of the line of scrimmage, I was like, all right, the house is coming.
I guess even Wilson's expecting the run, and it looks like they're expecting the run again.
Yeah, they're even leaving that top receiver uncovered in the flat. Oh, but they go ahead and throw it out to him and cover the space really quickly.
Yeah, it looks like a gain of about 4 or 5. So it makes it a manageable third down.
It was
And
definitely an interesting adjustment by Lake City to see the uncovered receiver go ahead and get it out to him quick, but with how
but
fast Williston closed his face.
even more importantly, the clock's still running. That clock is hurting Wilson as much as the
You're
Falcons right
100%
now.
right.
And they brought the pressure, and
But
it
did
looks
it get home?
looks like that's going to be enough for a first down there.
It's really close.
Or maybe not. It might be short by about half a yard.
Yeah, we're going to have a fourth down from the 6.
Now, here comes the question. Do you kick? If they have a kicker, do you go the field goal here to go up 2 possessions, or do you go for the yard?
So you've seen them kick it pretty well on the kickoff coverage, but do they have the snap, the hold, and the kick? I mean, a special teams unit together to get all 3 done for a middle school football team is a rare sight.
Trying to see if they brought a kicker on the field. It's hard to tell because they don't. It doesn't really. That's the thing with middle school; it doesn't stand out as much. You can't
Right.
really figure out who's. Oh, it doesn't look like the kicker's coming on the field.
Okay, we're going to see a middle school field goal attempt.
Yeah, and a pretty big one that would put the Falcons up 2 possessions with just under 5 minutes.
All right, we've got a 25-yard field goal attempt on deck. Snap does not get home. It's going to have to run fire,
And
and
it's a touchdown.
they actually convert the touchdown on the fourth down fire of the field goal. With how quick they ran the fire off of that, do you think it was just designed that way?
I think it was. Because the thing is, he didn't even try to put it down. He immediately got up and was going for the throw.
Right,
That
like,
was a design play.
It looked like he was already getting his right knee off the ground, ready to get moving.
It seems that they caught him napping.
And they've done it once before on the swinging gate, too, so.
So now it looks like the Falcons are going to try to potentially go up 2 scores. Well, they've already went up 2 scores, go up 15. Unless they try for another fake here. And they do another fake. And
it's broken up. But still, they've got a 14-point lead. Looks like the number 2 for the Falcons was injured on the conversion attempt.
Yeah, it looked like he might have caught his foot a little bit on the grass.
It's an infamous turf monster, huh? As long as the turf monster doesn't ask for no hot thing, 350.
Columbia has not moved to the turf yet, but sometimes with all the rain that you get here in Florida, it's something you should consider at some point. He seems to be okay. He's walking.
Yeah, maybe just got hit funny and.
Just a reminder, please, Monday, to be Monday and Tuesday, today's 16. The more information, see the evening there. Information should be mixed up together. Making it
But yeah, it does kind of feel like a playoff game here at Lake City Middle School, even though we're at Columbia.
Well, Wilson's going to really have to pull out all the stops now to see if they can at least bring it back to 1 possession here.
And the thing is for them right now, you're not just playing against the Falcons, you're playing against the clock. Because you don't have a lot of time, and you have to get 2 scores to try to force a longer play. And got some speed here on the kickoff, but he's going to get stopped just short of the 30.
I've always noticed with middle school and the lower levels of tackle football, one of the things that always struggles is blocking in the open field on special teams units, right? Whether it's punt return, kick return. A good kicker at these levels can really flip the field position because 70 yards is a lot of ground to cover for a middle school offense.
Especially with one that's going to have to be in a hurry up.
Right. That's an illegal formation too, and they call it on us. But it was also very noticeable when number 1's running on at the last minute. Oh, and they're not even calling an illegal formation. They're calling an illegal shift. Which, I mean, it was both. Pick one, right?
They must be more lax with the formation rules in middle school.
Feels like it right now, right?
I wonder if with that legal shift, though, is that going to get the clock running?
Yeah, was it declined? I saw somebody waving their hands like it was declined, but why would they? I didn't even see the fumble at the end there.
Me either. That one, a game-changing play.
I didn't even see a beanbag get thrown.
You gotta think they're gonna just try. They would want to drain as much clock here as they can.
Which means, based on what we've been thinking, of course it'll be a fumble right off the bat. But I was thinking that they were going to throw the ball.
That actually might help them, to be honest. At least the clock will run.
And that was a big loss. 15-yard loss of yardage there.
But things like if you're up 2 scores, you just want to drain as much time as you can. And another snap. This snap goes low. Well, the other one kind of went like off to the side. This one went to his feet. Surprised Williston's not trying to take a timeout here.
Maybe they're trying to save him for offense. I don't know. It does look like the Falcons aren't really taking any time off the clock with huddle or formation at all.
Oh, that's true. They're snapping with plenty of time.
And now they're going to throw the ball as well. And Williston's going to get a shoestring tackle where it's going to end up with a slight gain. But it still is bringing up 4th and 31.
Looks like a punt coming up, but let's see what's going on.
They're still in an offensive formation and have to burn a timeout because I think everybody finally caught on to the fact that it was 4th down.
I would have understood losing track of the downs like it was when they had that 15-second drive earlier in this game.
The Saints just re-upped Alvin Kamara for 2 years, 24.5 million with 22 million guaranteed. That's a big contract for a guy at that stage of his career. Kamara, Alvin Kamara.
Oh, yeah, he's a really good player. Might be one of the few bright spots the Saints have right now.
You know, for them to start out the season so as well as they did with winning their first 2 games and destroying their first 2 games, you would think.
That just shows you how quickly things can change in the NFL.
Agreed. Punt gets off, but it's a short one. And it takes a Williston bounce.
And stops the 50. So Williston will have the ball with 2.5 minutes at the 50-yard line. And they're trailing by 14.
And they're like 50 line. That's 10. Williston.
Well, folks, there's 2.5 minutes left in this ball game. We'll see if Williston has a little bit of magic up their sleeves. If you're watching with us on your phone on the vertical stream, thanks for watching. Make sure to smash that like button. If you're not already subscribed, please subscribe. It's free to do for the channel. And those likes and subscriptions help your friends, neighbors, family, anybody else who are sports fans around Williston navigate that algorithm and find our content. Right? Because there's plenty of people that don't know that this channel exists yet. Help spread the words with your likes and subscribes. If you're on the horizontal channel watching on the big screen, just press down on your remote and it'll let you press that thumbs up button. We don't ask you to pay anything for this service. We just want you to help us spread the word by that thumbs up and subscriptions. Because again, YouTube is kind of backwards. It sounds like you're going to pay something when you subscribe, but you technically pay something to become a member, which we don't have any memberships or anything yet. So don't sweat it. You're not going to accidentally charge your credit card with Google by hitting that free subscribe. But when you subscribe and hit the bell notification for knowing when our games are going live, you'll get a notification on your phone, your tablet, your TV if it has YouTube built in. And the throw falls incomplete on 3rd and long.
So 4th and 10 coming up, and this probably is the ball game here.
That other 4th down was a little bit more important right now. This one just feels like it's going to extend the game if they can convert. But if they don't convert, it feels like that's the ball game, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it is middle school football, so anything crazy can happen, right? But usually not in championship games. You reach this point by being better than the other teams that line up across from you.
Overall, this has been a really strong defensive battle with these two teams. You had like 2 really long Falcons drives. Well, one of them came on a short field, and then you had that one long Wilson drive that fell just short of the end zone.
Yes, sir.
Again, please remain in the stands and take the presentation of the trophy.
So you can kind of sense on the other side that the LCMS fan base is already ready for that trophy celebration.
Feels like they are. Maybe Williston will have something to say about it right here.
Whoa. Okay.
Oh, and it falls incomplete. As soon as you saw number 4 at a position other than QB, you knew something of some sort of trick play was about to be run. Looks like it gave him a chance to really get outside the pocket and set up the throw, but
He was open too. Like he was open by about 15 yards there. It just a little bit off on the throw.
fine young quarterbacks forget to set their feet and make the throw when it comes to a big important throw. They get a little too excited. They get those happy feet instead of planting 70% of the weight on that back foot and making that good hip rotation. No, I'm trying to teach the throw game to my 9-year-olds on the flag football squad. And I tell you, that's it's going to be rewarding whenever it finally clicks for them. Because some games it'll click and they'll just catch everything and look like they've really made a lot of strides. And every once in a while, we just won't be able to catch the ball. And once you make a few missed catch attempts, it seems like they start getting down on themselves a little bit. And I tell them, I'm like, hey, you're young guys, you're making this strides that you'll need to be good at this when you're 16, 17, 18 years old. Like, we don't expect you to catch everything this age, just got to try your best and keep up with it.
Yeah, especially that age. It's about just like growing and getting better as a player. A little surprised they're throwing, but it's getting a
And
little chippy out there.
I was going to say, is that a roughing the passer call for something a little?
Might be. It looked like there was a few bit of jawing with the defender and some of the backfield. Face mask.
Face mask instead.
You don't often see a face mask call on the non-ball carrier.
I think you would just normally call that roughing the passer still, right?
Yeah, I would.
Unless they don't have in this level of football like a hands to the face being.
You got to think right here. You get a first down, you could just take a knee.
Yeah, and the fact that they've been throwing the ball, they probably could have already been done with this game. There's 1 minute, 14 seconds left, and we've had 2 incomplete passes, right?
What's going on here?
Seems like there's been a lot of officials conversations in football this year. Don't really get much indication of what they're talking about or why they're discussing something.
And that's a first down that will more than likely seal the ball game for the Falcons. And I guess that's championship 4 or 5. Like, it would have helped if they gave us some notes before the game.
And it was a good little throw and catch on the slant, too, wasn't it? Hit it in rhythm, led him perfectly, do it where only the receiver could get to it.
I guess Wilson's going to take the extra timeout home with them.
I mean, at this point, does it?
Probably not worth it.
Yeah.
Because they can take a knee at any time. I don't know what they're doing.
Oh. Yeah, because I thought Williston had just jumped that route for a second there. Did you see that?
And again, that's like, why are you throwing the ball right now? The game is over. Just take a knee. Like, that's what the Miami Hurricanes learned last year when they played Georgia Tech. When you can end the game, just end it. It looks like this will be the last play of the game. I guess they're finally going to go take a knee.
Yep, and that's it. Lake City Middle School Falcons have finished off their SMAC championship run of 2024, with Williston coming up 2 possessions short. We need a spot behind there. Yeah. Well, folks, I'm sorry. This is the first game I've made it out to for the middle school squad, and brought you what turned out to be their championship loss. But we can't bring you a championship win without risking a championship loss either. In this case, unfortunately, it didn't work out for the Red Devils, but they showed a lot of promise for becoming the varsity Red Devils.
Was that shift 4 or 5
What do you mean?
for football? For the Falcons.
We've been in this our first year in Hawks. Years.
I think she knew about the previous years y'all were in the conference.
Yeah,
So.
that's what I was asking.
Yeah. It's all good.
Well, I figured it's my one shot here now. I believe that's their AD.
Gotcha. Well, guys, we appreciate you tuning in with us tonight and seeing the Williston Middle School running Red Devils take on the Lake City Middle School Falcons. And we're going to close it off tonight, reminding you that we're going to start up our stream for the Newberry game around 7 o'clock Friday night from Booster Stadium in Williston. So if you can't make it there to make plenty of noise and give Williston the home field advantage, or if you happen to be somewhere out of town, out of state, heck, even out of the country, especially if you're out of the country, make sure to let us know in the chat that you're tuning in from wherever you are to support your Williston Red Devils, and we appreciate you guys for joining with us, and we'll hope to see you next time.
All right.
Hunter, thanks again for coming out, man. Appreciate you. Open invitation whenever you want to do, and next time we'll have you like a little stand microphone and everything instead, and we'll just keep on adding. Or heck, even you got a headset you want to bring, you let me know, and I'll make sure to hook it up for you.
All right. Well, obviously it worked. We worked itself out. We worked around it and caught a very good defensive ball game. And I guess we'll be in touch obviously on Thursday.
Yep. In fact, if you're interested in seeing the preview of this week in high school football, and you're on the North Central Florida Prep Football group, it'll post in there the link to the live show that we'll be doing on Thursday night to discuss all things high school football in North Central Florida, but especially with a focus on the rural programs. So we'll hope to see you there.